Hello and welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where we love to educate and inspire the community to live more healthily, feel more balanced and truly live a lifestyle they love. And today for our first guest we have Dr. Zara Celik, integrative health and wellbeing expert. And once again she's back with us, this time talking about skin health, so caring for your skin. So Dr. Zara, over to you. Why is that important?
Yeah, sure. So skin is actually the biggest organ, right? And we want to make sure the skin is breathing and it is clean and it is functioning at its optimum level. So what do I mean by that? Skin has a huge role, not in terms of breathing and exchanging a part of the detox, but it is also a mirror reflection of how internal organs are doing and how they are functioning. So it gives us an insight in terms of what is also happening internally in terms of our health and well-being. Now today though, I'd like to talk more about taking care of our skin and how we can, by taking care of our skin, how we can also support our health and well-being and support also the detoxification system, because skin is very much involved with the detoxification system as well. So cleaning the skin and getting rid of dead skin cells, which can clog up our skin pores, is number one. That's where I will begin. Why? Because now, people know about, when we talk about caring for the skin, usually people think about the face, right? So I want people to know, let's go and think whole body when it comes to skin health. And when it comes to taking care of the skin, let's focus on, and something a lot of people don't usually do, is exfoliating and removing the dead skin cells. Because normally now in the modern life, we have the whole cleansing, the products going, which is amazing. But let's go also to ancient wisdom and ancient rituals and bring that to our rituals daily. So then that way we can take care of our skin holistically and optimize the health of the skin as well. And by optimizing the skin health, yes, skin's glowing, it is healthy, it is radiant, but it's also functioning and supporting our internal organs. Because as I said, skin is involved heavily in the detoxification system, because the skin pores help to flush out toxins through perspiration, through the sweating mechanism that the body does naturally, right? So it is then in that case important that we have a clean skin where the pores are not clogged up. And the best way to achieve that, I find, Linda, is through an ancient wisdom, a ritual. It's called Turkish hammam bath ritual. It is magnificent because it uses a special glove called kisa glove, which you put on, and it is usually after a steam session. There's usually a nice ritual goes with that. But even at home, our viewers can do it after a bath or shower when the skin's nice and moist and it is warm, because that's when the skin cells are nice and warm, and moist rather. So then it's good to wear that glove and remove all that dead skin, and literally it comes off like a spaghetti, it rolls off. And that process allows the skin to breathe. All the skin pores are open, right? And the skin's able to breathe and detox efficiently at an optimum level. So that's a big one that I will actually encourage our viewers to get onto, these ancient wisdoms. Apart from the products that we apply, the whole moisturizers and everything else, then of course hydrate the skin, which is excellent. So a good hydration, both internal and external. So drinking enough water to hydrate our cells, drinking enough for our body shape and type, so all our cells are hydrated and looking more like grapes than sultanas. And then there's the hydration, of course, external. Toning is excellent. So rose water is my favorite. People can pick whatever they prefer, what they like. So using a nice toner to really tone the skin and hydrate the skin also externally. Then get on to applying a nice product, either moisturizer or serum or body oil, to keep it hydrated and nourished. Because by doing that, we are really caring for the skin. We are also eliminating the dry skin, the flaky skin, and we have that luminous, glowing, beautiful skin. And also that whole glowing skin tells us the internals are also healthy as well. One other thing that I would like to tell our viewers though, when it comes to picking your products, try to go certified organic and try to pick products that has less ingredients. And if you find the ingredients are too much for you to understand, then maybe stay away from them. The reason I actually say that, because our cosmetic care products, personal care products, our shampoos can contain product or ingredients rather in the products that can go and affect our endocrine system. So endocrine system is like our hormonal system. We want to make sure that the ingredients in those products are not going against the function of the health and well-being, because there could be ingredients in those products that can actually create that xenoestrogenic effect and disrupt the endocrine health.
So, Zara, what would be the best advice for our viewers that you could give?
Absolutely. So I will encourage people to get on to drinking enough water to hydrate their cells. Now, what do I mean by that? That will be a question, I'm sure, and people want to know that. So for every 20 to 25 kilograms of body weight that we hold, we must drink a liter of water so we have sufficient hydration for our cells. So when the cells are hydrated, and that goes for the skin because that's also a cell, it looks plumped, it looks luscious, and it looks luminous and well hydrated, and it is glowing.
So would that be per day?
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying? 20 for every 20 kilos, 1 litre?
That is correct. So for example, if you weigh around 60 kilograms, then there is 3 litres of water per day to keep your cells hydrated at all times. So that's a rule of thumb. The other thing will be, of course, getting into steam rooms. Private steam rooms are excellent, helping with the skin, moistening that dead skin cells and allowing the skin pores to open for detoxification and also cleansing of the skin and giving that glowing effect to the skin as well. Light therapies, they work extremely well and work with the integrity of the cellular function by energizing the cells, the mitochondria of the cells, and giving that luminous look, that glowing look, because it is working on repairing and healing the skin cells from within. So they will be the ones that I will actually give our viewers.
Thank you very much. And for more information on Dr. Zara Celik and caring for your skin, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break, and after the break we'll be back with more amazing interviews. Welcome back, and our next guest is Helen Mack, back with us in the series of optimizing outcomes, and today she's talking about creating clarity. So clarity, Helen, that's a really interesting one. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I'm sure everybody would love to have clarity in life.
It's difficult, isn't it, Linda? I think sometimes we all feel like we're wandering around in a haze trying to work out where we're going to end up. So creating clarity is obviously a key piece of optimizing outcomes. And I love the clarity piece because it has such power. There's real power in getting clear about your goals, your expectations of yourself and others, and your communication of those expectations to all of the people involved. So the power of clarity is that it helps us communicate to others what we are planning to do, how we're going to do it, and including how they can support us. Remember our What's Possible conversation from session 1. And so it enables everybody who's involved to kind of get on board, whether that's you and your family, your business, your community, or some not-for-profit organisation or charity that you're involved in, whatever part of your life that you want to get optimised outcomes from, getting clear about it is part of a very critical part of the process.
So how would they go about, can you explain a bit more about clarity and how we see things?
Beautiful. So I think there's 4 layers or 4 ways in which we go through to get to a position of clarity. The first is muddy. So this is literally when you're stuck, like if you're trying to walk through a river and your boots are stuck. You might end up leaving your boots behind, or you're certainly going to end up in a mess. So muddy is a stage where you think you know where you want to go, but you're kind of stuck where you are now. And the only way to get unstuck is to make some kind of massive movement. So if you're stuck in mud, you can't just kind of wriggle forward. You've really got to push yourself out. Now, the bad news for people is that sometimes that means some kind of disagreement, some kind of blow up, because something big has to shift to get out of the mud. The second step is cloudy. So this is like trying to swim in a river where there's so much stuff in the water, so many particles in the water that you can't see where you're going. You're likely to bump into things, accidents can happen. So that the point around going from muddy to cloudy is we need to wash that through and make sure that we're focusing on the tiny points of clarity that we've got and bring those together so that we can push away the obstacles, the dirt, the stuff that's hanging around. Then we move to the third stage, which is clear. And clear sounds like it's the end of the journey, but it's the start of the clarity piece. So clear is, I now know where I am, I know where I'm going, and I can ask all of those what's possible questions that we talked about in the first session, as well as what's the best possible outcome for me now. So clear is great, but then there's one more step. If we can get to crystal, then we're really cooking. So there's two benefits about being crystal clear about something, and you know a lot about this, Linda, so I know I'm right in your space. With two elements of crystal, if you can get to crystal clear, then it creates a resonance, it creates an energy that attracts into your world the support that you need, the help that you need, and things just become much easier. And the second thing about crystal clear is that if you shine a light through crystal, it sparkles into a million different colours, you know, all of the rainbows sort of thing. And so that means you have more options and more colour, more brightness in the ability to achieve your goal. So they're the 4 steps. We need to identify where we are and then take action to get us to the next level up, ideally aiming for that crystal clear at the top.
So that brings up a lot of questions for people, doesn't it? How do I get clear? How do I do that?
Yeah. So I think that there's 6 questions that we need to ask ourselves, and these are not new. Everyone's asked these questions in various circumstances before, but if you've got the clarity lens looking at these questions, we need to ask what I call the 5 W's and the H. So why, what, when, where, who, how.
Helen, can you tell us a little bit more about the power of those questions?
Excellent question, Linda. So the thing about those questions is that regardless of your goal, if you get everyone involved in that goal to answer all of those questions, then you'll have people enrolled in the process and they'll know how to support you or what their part of it is. So let's go through a couple of different examples. So the first question that you need to ask yourself or others involved is why. So this is actually the purpose question, which can actually be a very deep, long conversation about the purpose of why am I doing this. But at a lighter level, it's simply, why is this important to me now? Why do I want to take this on? Why is it going to be important to me in my life or in the life of the other people in my world? So the why question for yourself and for others is the important pivotal starting point. So then we go, why, what? What am I going to do? What is the outcome that I'm after, and what will be the benefit to myself or to whoever else in my life that it involves. So if it's a health goal, it might just be me, but the what might have a long-term ramification or benefit to my family or my community, etc. So why, what, when? So when is an important one in terms of the timeline. Is it urgent, has to be done now, rally people around and get going? Or is it something that's a longer term plan, which gives other people time to become involved, time to get educated, time to start learning how they're going to be part of this process? So the when is around timeline and urgency. So we've got what, why, what, when. The next one is who, which is who am I going to need on my team? So if you remember my story from the first session around my late husband's illness, the challenge of that was who do we need to get involved? And so we got friends and family at various levels. We had different medical teams. It was really about bringing a team around us to take us together on this journey. So we needed to know the who's. And then you need to enroll those people, engage them, make sure that they're as excited and interested in your goal as you are. Those great supporters can make a big difference to whether you achieve that or not. Then we have where, which is it all going to happen where I am now? Does it mean me having to move? And there's been some very interesting moves in people's businesses and lives in recent times. And so you can set a goal for here, or you can set a goal for over there. I'm going to do this where? I'm going to once I've moved over there, I'm going to be able to do this in this new location. Or is it a transitory thing? So my where at the moment is all about working from anywhere. I want to make sure in my coaching that I can reach my people wherever I am. And so that means I can live my lifestyle while still making a difference to individuals. So my where at the moment is anywhere in the world, as long as I've got internet coverage. And then the final step is how. And the how is all about what processes am I going to use? What steps am I going to take? How do I do this thing? Do I do it alone? Do I do it within a group, in a company, in a community? How do I want to make this happen? And the most important first step of that is, what's the best first step to get the best possible outcome?
Thank you, Helen. And for more about Helen Mack, we'll be back next time in the third in the series about optimising outcomes, and it's maximising our momentum. In the meantime, please go to her webpage and on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au for more information. And we'll see you after the break with another guest in the series. Welcome back, and for our next guest we have Kaveri Sequeira, a certified health coach and author, and she's here today talking to us about food marketing. So welcome, Kaveri.
Thank you, Linda. It's great to be back.
Food marketing, Kaveri, what is the impact of food marketing?
Thank you, Linda. So we're actually subconsciously primed from a very young age when it comes to food. For example, when you think about Christmas, you think about Santa. You think about Santa. Children associate, Santa with pleasure because it's presents. Now Santa's colors are red and white. Now, can you think of another fizzy drink company that also uses red and white in their marketing? Now, that is a level of priming that we are used to without being aware from a very young age. I can give you another example. If you look at how food is marketed to us, low fat, skim milk, no fat. That's, as soon as you go into the supermarket aisle, you look at these things and you think, okay, I'm trying to be more healthy, so maybe I should make one of these choices. It's right in front there. It's like really well advertised. It's colorful. But when you actually look at it, if you look at the back of the packaging, where the ingredients are for that particular item, you might actually find that there's so much of processed ingredients in that. There's sugar in that, which is hidden in different names. So actually, are you aware that there's actually 65 names or more of sugar? So sugar may not, so you might think you're making a really good choice by making a low fat or no fat, but that's being replaced by processed food, or worse, with things like sugar and in its different names. So you might actually think you're making a healthy choice, but actually you're not. And that is one of the impacts of food marketing. So another example is when, say, you go to a restaurant. Have you ever actually wondered why in the restaurant they give you free bread as soon as you walk in? What happens with free bread is that it's got a lot of junk sugars. And when you actually eat it, your body actually gets more hungry, not less. Have you wondered why you're never full after eating like 3 of those pieces of bread? The reason is we're not getting our nourishment from that food. It is not nourishing. It actually makes you more hungry. What happens when you're more hungry? You're going to order more. And that is all part of the subconscious priming that we're conditioned to from a very young age. So it's really important that we're aware of it, and we are educated on how to make better decisions and vote with our money better.
And so why is it important to know these food industry or tactics, food marketing tactics?
As I said, it's really important that we educate ourselves and be informed about the very fact that just a couple of things that I've just mentioned to you. Because if you don't, you're going to go ahead and make those decisions thinking you're making a healthy decision, a healthy choice, but actually you're not doing anything positive for your health. In fact, it's probably more detrimental because it's so much away from the natural diet. So I have a great story. I have a woman in her 50s. I know a woman in her 50s, and she was morbidly overweight and very unhappy, had a lot of pain due to arthritis, and just basically lacked basic mobility that we would expect to have. Very unhappy with her quality of life, didn't have any energy, couldn't even go up and down her own stairs. And she learned a few of these food marketing tactics that I just shared with you, and overall changed her diet to a more natural human diet. And she released about over 30 kilos, and she's now got like, you know, like she's moved like a spring chicken, and she basically has no pains, got rid of all her arthritis pains, and she's able to dance and do the things that she's passionate about. When I look at her socials, I'm like so happy for her, because she's just an overall happier, healthier person, and she can actually move up and down and live her life. Now that's what you want. That's how you know, and those are some of the benefits of, you know, being aware of this and changing your buying behavior, knowing what you know now.
So Kaveri, how can we make better choices when we are shopping for food?
Great.
Some tips for our viewers.
Great. So the first thing that I would recommend in this topic is to get familiar with the ingredients on the item that you're buying. So I'm not talking about the nutritional information here, guys. I'm talking about the actual ingredients in the package that you're purchasing. Tomato ketchup is you would think has tomatoes in it, and in a couple of other ingredients, but the second largest ingredient in tomato ketchup is sugar. And you know, we all know that sugar is addictive and causes cravings. So if I were you, I would look at buying an organic version of that, which has no sugar, or even make your own. So ingredients, look at the ingredients and make better choices. You could get familiar with the 65 names of sugar. There's over 65 names of sugar. So you might actually think you're buying an item that has no sugar in it, but it just may not be called sugar in the ingredients list. It may be called fructose or maltose or corn syrup. All of those are names of sugar. And it's important. I would recommend that you get really familiar with that. Get familiar with the 65 names of sugar, and always check your ingredients on the item that you're purchasing. The other thing you could do is limit things which have got refined sugar in it. So if you know that particular item, so if you know there's soft drinks, or you know, if you look at the ingredients in soft drinks, I mean, you'll find that just doing that, you will be like shocked at what all things have got added sugar in it. Things that you don't think, for example, pasta sauce might have added sugar in it. So get familiar with the ingredients in everything you buy. Understand what those 65 names of sugar are. You could also make better choices if you want sugar. So I would recommend you have fruits, natural fruits in honey, and you meet your sugar craving from those products. Even things like grain have got a lot of junk sugars in it. So I would recommend reducing that as part of your diet as well, because that actually causes cravings as well. And dairy also is something that I recommend that you limit.
Well, thank you, Kaveri, for that. And for more information on Kaveri and food marketing, and also for that 65 names of sugar, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And for now, we'll leave it till next week and be back with more amazing guests.